Okay, so here's a fun one for today. How to be a boss without being bossy, because that's the thing, right? You get promoted to suddenly having to manage people that maybe you were friends with before or co-workers before. How do you get them to do what you want them to do without like being bossy and telling them what to do? So a little series of videos that give some little tips, and this is a super quick one. So the topic today is number one, how to get the meeting back on track. So let's say you're in a meeting and a conversation has developed and people are off track and you want to bring it back. So you got two options, right? Oh, my chickens. You got two options. One is you could be like, stop right there. I'm gonna interrupt. That's not relevant. We need to get back on track. Let's keep things moving, people. And that's the kind of default that we think we need to do to be authoritarian. The two styles of like leadership here that we're talking about is authoritarian versus authoritative. And yes, I know those are the same names as parenting styles, but you can see the similarity. Authoritarian is the like director, dictator, bossy, like do what I say. Authoritative is still having that authority and assertiveness, but doing it in a way that brings people along on the journey. So option B, which I'm going to explain now, is how you might want to consider approaching this in the situation where your meeting's gone off track. You can say, for example, let's say her name is Jennifer. Jennifer, what you're saying is really valid. I can totally see the point, and I really want to talk with you about it further. Can we talk about that after the meeting? Because I really want to hear what you have to say. For now, though, is it all right if we just get the meeting back on track so we can respect everyone's time and follow the agenda so we can all get out of here on time? Sound fair? Awesome. Thank you so much. Done. Took maybe like 10 seconds longer to say that. And everyone's on board. And I'm going to break down the parts of that and explain why that works. So, one, Jennifer, you've used the person's name, so you get their attention straight away. That's much easier than saying stop, hold, right? You don't need to use a hand gesture to get their attention. You say their name. Super powerful. Then you're validating. So what you're saying is really important. I do want to hear what you're saying. You're validating and appreciate what they're saying because then you're acknowledging that they're an adult and they're having you're not a parent and they're not misbehaving child. They have a valid point to make. You're saying I do want to talk about it with you. And so you're showing that care and empathy that you are interested in what they have to say because they are a valid member of the team and what they're saying probably is important. And so you do want to talk about it later. Make sure you follow up. If you say, let's talk about it after the meeting, that you do actually follow up and schedule a time to talk further. When you're saying, let's carry on with the agenda, you're redirecting it back to what you want. And that's the whole point of this, getting the meeting back on track. When you say things like, sound fair, or, so we can respect everyone's time and get out of here on time for everyone, that's bringing the whole team in and including everyone and showing that you're considering everyone in that situation, not just you and your agenda. And then the last thing I did was thank you. And it's just that simple acknowledgement, being a polite, good human by saying thank you and appreciating that, yeah, you've had to make a call and you've had to be the boss, but you've done it in a way that is inclusive of people and brings them along on the journey and acknowledges and appreciates their part in the role as well. So hopefully then you won't get those snide comments of like, oh, he's a bit narky today, or whatever the vibe is happening when you're not bringing people along on the journey. So that was it for today. How to be a boss without being a boss, without being bossy, getting a meeting back on track. If this is helpful, chuck me a like or a subscribe. Oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Whatever, don't like or subscribe. You do you. But do share this if it's helpful to someone. Because it might be helpful and it might stop people being like a narky boss because no one wants a narky boss. Anyway, have a super awesome day. Bye.